Turbo Conquering Mega Eagle. Alright folks, how you doing? The last video I made was the slingshot pistol, and a number of people asked about the trigger mechanism that I used. I didn't show it. You know, in all honesty, I feel tremendous shame in not having made my own trigger mechanism. That was you know, one of the most fun aspects of building crossbows and that, getting the triggers right. And you know, it's a bit of a challenge with the high-powered crossbows. But the only reason I made the slingshot pistol in the first place was because I'd seen the trigger mechanisms for sale on eBay and they were very cheap. So I bought a couple and then built a pistol around it. So you know, apologies for not making one and not showing it and not explaining that I'd bought them. But now that we're here talking about slingshot triggers, or catapult triggers as they're, you know, probably better known in this country. Not that anyone's, but never mind, whatever. I'll show you the two triggers that are available, certainly in the UK, and you know, it looks like the worldwide. There's really just two triggers available for people that want to make their own triggered slingshots. There's a very big difference, right? Let's have a little look. This is the one I originally bought because it is the cheapest. You know, I have a habit of doing that, and you know, quite often it bites me in the arse, and this was no exception. So I bought these ones. These don't look anything like the picture, yeah, but they were advertised as zinc, and they're about a third the price as the stainless steel one. So I didn't actually use this one in the end. I bought it, saw how terrifyingly shite it was, and then you know, paid the extra money for the stainless steel one. And I've not taken the slingshot pistol apart. Merely, I bought another one of these because I'm just making another little well, it's a rifle version this time. Should be a little bit more powerful. So here we are. I'm making this video really so that anyone who's going to try and build one of these themselves knows the difference between the two triggers. And like, this has got an anodized finish. It looks like an anodized finish, although it's zinc. So I don't know if that's still known as anodizing, or maybe it's just paint. But we'll have a little look at why the stainless steel trigger, which is only about twice the price, is so superior to the zinc trigger. All right. Okay, so zinc's a lot softer than steel. Most of this is die cast zinc, by the way. These latch, the release pins, well, not release pins, I suppose the lugs that hold your sling and ammo, are not a separate piece. This is just one die casting each one of these pins, and it's, you know, cast along with the arm. They're riveted in place with a very loose either aluminium or zinc rivets. I should imagine they're aluminium. Zinc wouldn't peen over too well. And we've got an exposed spring there to pull these two arms back to centre. One of them doesn't want to move too well, the other is very free, so we're going to get an uneven release. If I just push my thumb through there, you can see one of them's opening quite nicely, the other one's not moving half as much. So I should imagine your ammo is going to come out at an angle there. There's no return on the trigger itself, and you know, zinc's nice and light, but it's not very strong, and it's not very hard either. So where we've got the trigger basically gets in the way of the rear end of the arm after the pivot there. You can just see it moving over there, and if the trigger's in its place, the arm can't move over. Yeah, they both work the same way, but so you've got the contact here is zinc on zinc, and like that's the the biggest downfall of this trigger, I suppose. The fact that over time the edges are going to get chamfered off and rounded over, and you're going to get to a point. I mean, maybe it's going to take 1,000 shots, but it just won't latch anymore. Regardless of how hard this spring is. If you've got any sort of tension on these whatsoever, they're going to try and open up, and because they're rounded off, it will just bink, pop that trigger back. It will not take long for that to happen. And obviously, being zinc, you'll be very limited on how much tension you can put on these anyway. Right, the difference with the steel one, like instantly, this trigger's internally spring loaded, so this one relies on having an external spring somewhere. This one has you see that little Allen screw at the back? There's a spring and then a plunger here, and that plunger's spring loaded, so that returns itself, which is very nice. The pins appear to be turned stainless steel, whereas the body is sintered. Sintered's not as strong as other, if it was like billet stainless, I suppose, if it was machined from solid, but it's still, it's still comparable in strength, and certainly far stronger than zinc. But also the dimensions are a little bit different, so we're a lot thicker there. The return spring is a lot tidier. That's just a tiny little spring nestled in between. This one actually protrudes from the surface there, so it could get snagged on stuff, depending on how you build it. Again, these are riveted in place, but these are steel rivets this time, and obviously the contact area is steel on steel, which is going to last a lot longer than zinc, so you could put a lot more power through this. The other important design difference is there's a gear system built into the to release arms, so even if you just apply pressure on one side, the other side still opens. So in theory, you should get a perfect release every time with these ones. So it's much superior in that case. It does weigh a lot more. I mean, we're probably 3 times the weight with the steel one as opposed to the zinc one, but they're not that heavy overall anyway, so it wouldn't be much of a weight gain on your piece. Okay, so with this one, with it shut, there's no movement in these arms. They are pretty much lock solid. That's going to be a close tolerance fit with the back of the arms there. There's no slop in the rivets that attach these arms to the body, so there's no movement. So really you can put ammunition in this right down to the gap in between these two pins, and I don't know if it's going to be the same on every single trigger, but in this case it's about 4mm. Yeah. On the zinc model, however, we're already starting off with a much bigger gap. That's about 1/4 inch or 6mm, but there's quite. Let's close that up. There's quite a bit of play, even with the trigger forwards. There's quite a bit of play, so I'd be nervous about putting any tension on an 8mm ball, as I think that would push its way through there. Obviously you've got the ball in the pouch as well, but the pouch is generally going to be a soft material which might deform and result in a random firing incident. So really you'd want to use 10mm in this. Let me get a couple of balls and let's see if we can push them through. Okay, so we'll try the 8mm ball bearing first. Actually just goes straight through. Is that latched? No, it wasn't latched. Yeah, it still goes straight through. Okay, I'm not saying it would if you've got the pouch there, but the ball on its own goes straight through. The 10mm, okay, a bit of resistance there, but I'm pretty sure I could push that through with relatively little force. Let's try it with one finger. Yeah, 10mm goes through as well. So I'll just show you the steel one in comparison. like I say, no give in those whatsoever, and I don't have to worry about that being latched because it's spring loaded. No movement, no way that 8mm ball's going through and that's not going through, so the 10mm is definitely not going through. Alright, this is just a quick little video, just so you know what's going on. Unless you're going to use ammo that's bigger than 10mm, in which case you're going to need a lot of tension on your bands, and then this probably will open up anyway because it's shite. Don't get the zinc ones, spend a little bit more money and get the steel ones. You can see there's telltale differences as well, so even if they show a picture of this one and it's nice and shiny, if your rivets are proud and the springs exposed and it hasn't got the fluting on the trigger, avoid this one at all costs because it's absolute rubbish. The camera's fogging up now. I'm going to get on with something else. I hope this is useful to anyone looking at buying these triggers. I'm going to carry on building a much bigger slingshot right now. Alright folks, bye bye.